Good day, all. It's AJ here, your Toothless Sage Seeker. We are back, and I'm excited because my packages were waiting for me at the post when we got home. The last couple of days, I have been having fun with them, and I want to share them with you so you can join in on the excitement. So, when I was down there during my vacation, I was looking at some bookstores for some vintage tarot books. They didn't have any, so I decided to order some online, and so I got some vintage tarot books and a vintage tarot deck and a vintage oracle deck. So let's share with you my vintage haul. So the first book I want to share with you is the complete book of tarot by Eden Gray. This is her 1970s hardbound book. Um, it doesn't have the cover. I'm not too worried about it, but what it does have is handwriting inside of it. I'm excited about that. So I'm excited to read all the little annotations within this book, um, to see how this person used this book. Um, and this will give me a perspective on the tarot back in the 1970s. The next book I have here is Jung and the Tarot. This will give me a perspective of Carl Jung and his theory on the tarot. I've been excited to get a book on Carl Jung and the tarot, so I'm excited to read this book. And my last book, the interesting aspect of this haul, is Tarot of the Bohemians by Pappas. This is a book that was published back in 1895. This is a 1995 publishing or printing, but what's interesting is this will give me a perspective of tarot pre-1900s, so I get an understanding that was what was before the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So I'm excited to be reading these books, and now for the excitement part of it is the Oracle and Tarot decks. I now have a copy of the Hoi Polloi Tarot. This is a very interesting deck. I wanted this deck because of the colors and the vibrancy of it, which is different from your Rider-Waite-Smith, but it is a Rider-Waite-Smith rendition. And this deck is one that you could have found inside your dime store novelty shop. You didn't have to go to a special metaphysical store to get this deck, which I'm excited about it. And the term hoi polloi is Greek, which means for everyone, for the people, and I believe that's the reason why they called it this deck, because it was for the people. And honestly, I'm thinking to myself, if this was a deck that I found in a dime store novelty shop, this may have been the deck back then. If I was alive back then, this may have been the deck that may have started my spiritual path. So I'm excited. I now have a copy of this deck. Some of the cards were had some rips on it. I did some 1970s card surgery, but what I'm happy about is I do have a deck now that I can shovel. I only got the deck. There was no book, no other information box or book with it, but I'm happy I have a deck that I can work with. The Oracle deck that I acquired to go along with this deck is the Pages of Shasta. Shasta. Like mustard without the RD. So hard to pronounce for it, but I'm excited. What I love about this box, there's a name inside and what appears to be a phone number. Also, on the inside of the box, we have their rendition of the first six cards of the Celtic Cross. Also, what I love about this deck, there's another name here. I think it says Kevin Bell on it, written on it. I love the idea of this deck. The card stock on this deck is very good. I love the images. I love the feel of it. There's suits to this deck similar to the tarot, and I figured this deck would be great to go along with the Hoi Polloi because this was published back in 1974. Hoi Polloi was published back in 1972, so this would have been a great deck to have acquired after learning about the tarot, and I think they go good together. So what is a message for the collective from the Hoi Polloi Tarot and the Pages of Shasta Oracle deck? So the tarot card I pulled today is the Emperor card, and this is a card of leadership, of authority, and the Oracle card I pulled is the Fishes, and the keyword to this deck was small wish. And I think all of us have that small mentality inside of us that want to have that small wish inside of us that wants to have that emperor mentality, to be able to lead with authority, to be able to stand tall and move forward, knowing what it is what we are saying is true and authentic. And this reminds me of a situation I was dealing with a while back. I was talking to somebody, and they were wondering why people don't want to talk to them or hang out with them or so on and so forth. And as I was talking to this person, I was noticing they had that desire to want to sound like they knew what they were talking about. But as I continued listening to them, I noticed that they had no clue what they were speaking about. And the this person's situation, what it was is they weren't authentic. They were blowing out hot air to sound cool, to look cool, but they didn't actually have that the knowledge behind them to back it up. And I think that's one of the aspects about being an emperor that we need to acquire to have that mentality is authenticity. To be authentic, to if we're going to talk about something, we need to have that knowledge of it behind us so that we can back it up without question, without um, people wondering if we're actually real or not, because we have that knowledge, that skill behind us in order to back up what it is we talk about. So with that, I want to wish everybody namaste. I will see you guys in my next reading, and as always, y'all come back down here